and I believe wellness can be just as contagious as illness. And I want you to be extremely well so you can contribute to a world of wellness and we can all have fun. Right now I want to talk about evolution and the evolution of life and how you can summarise pretty much the whole evolution of life in just a few words. So the evolution of life started on Earth when we had the hottest water on Earth meet the coldest water on Earth. And that happened at the very bottom of the oceans about 4 billion years ago, where the hottest water on Earth was coming out of hydrothermal vents, which are all laden with ore and minerals, and the coldest water on Earth had sunk down, because cold water is dense, it sunk down to the bottom of the oceans. And when these two waters met, you had a whole range of temperature and pressure and dissolved solutes, and that's when we had the gel phase of life, and we started to make organic molecules and organic chemistry started. And that gel phase of life then became membrane-bound staccatos. That was the flowing phase, is the gel phase. The staccato phase is the cell phase. We had membrane-bound cells. And these are prokaryotic cells, very simple cells that then mastered the use of energy, and they used organic molecules, but also the sun. They could photosynthesize. Then we had cells within cells, and they became organelles. And those organelles became our mitochondria and the chloroplasts in plants, and that actually harnessed even more energy. That was the chaos phase of life, and that actually created the atmosphere and the oxygen that we have today. Then the lyrical phase of life was sexual reproduction. So that's a creative explosion. This was 600 million years ago in the Cambrian explosion, where all sorts of life from sponges and jellies and worms, all different forms of life were exploding onto the scene. And then finally we have shells. And shells are crustaceans, shellfish and arthropods and insects, etc. They're still the biggest biomass on Earth today. So the invertebrate life went from gels to cells to organelles, then sexual cells and shells. That's invertebrate life. So that mastered energy production. The next phase of life was vertebrate life, which mastered space. And that went from scales in the oceans to skin on land, to feathers in the air, to fur on land and the air and the ocean, to fashion, where humans, we make Gore-Tex jackets and cars and aeroplanes, where we can go everywhere. So vertebrate life went from scales to skin to feathers to fur to fashion. And then finally, human cultural evolution is the evolution of communications technology. And we went from spoken word, which supported hunter-gatherers, walking around talking, to the written word, which supported agricultural empires, to the printed word, which supported industry, the industrial age, then to broadcasting, radio and television, which was the post-industrial age, and now we have the age, and we're coming to the end of that age, of networking, where everybody is networked to everybody else. So human cultural evolution went from words to writing, to printing, to broadcasting, and to networking. They're the 5 phases of the rhythms of human cultural evolution. And right now we're coming to the end, where we're at the stillness age of human cultural evolution. We're about to go into the whole next level of evolution with global planetary consciousness. And if you're alive today, you're part of that change. And we want that to be well. So please, go out, spread positive messages, be extremely well, and I'm going to use this sort of metaphor in a whole lot more scenarios, and hopefully you can understand that and use that in your life.